You're listening to the Outer Banks This Week podcast, a place for people to hear what's going on up and down the beach and to get the truth about what really goes on around the Outer Banks. So, are you ready? Here we go.
All right, thank you so much, Wes. Gosh, you know what? I miss that guy. Wes is one of the guys that works with us here at Outer Banks This Week, and he moved to Charlottesville, Virginia, I think. I think that's where he's at now. And he works remotely from there, and he was just cool to hang out with in the office. I'd walk over, and he'd be like, "Big dog," and I'd be like, "Ha ha, what's up, brother?" And he was just cool to hang out with, but he did that little intro for me for the podcast, and I appreciate him. And Wes, wherever you are, if you're listening, I miss you. I love you. I mean, I like you. I mean, gosh, you're cool. Outer Banks This Week podcast, episode 103. It's all brought to you by Kelly's Automotive in Manio and all powered by Outer Banks Pest Control. Little fun fact, and I don't remember if I mentioned this already or not, but you've got Kelly Midget, who owns Kelly's Automotive, and you've got Jesse Midget, his wife, who is like the owner operator. I don't know if she owns it. I don't know exactly what her title is. I know she's high up on the food chain when it comes to Outer Banks Pest Control, but they're like a Manio business power couple. Okay. Kelly, he's a piece of work. Jesse she's super sweet. I'm telling you right now. She is one of the sweetest, kindest people. Like, I don't know that I've ever been on her bad side. Actually, I'm pretty certain I've never been on her bad side. And, you know, a lot of times when you get on somebody's bad side, you tend to see another side of people. But she's always been so nice, so kind, so pleasant to be around. Super sweet person. She's got a girl in the office named Mandy that has, I guess it's like the yin to the yang. She can be a little spicy from time to time. Just kidding, Mandy. Love you. But super sweet. And then, of course, there's Kelly. He's Kelly. I don't know how else to explain Kelly, but Kelly's awesome. And you got two great businesses right there, and they're less than like a quarter mile from each other. You know, when you're coming into Manio, one of the first businesses on the right when you first come into Manio, coming through the light, is Outer Banks Pest Control. You go down about a quarter mile just past Jump Masters Trampoline Park on the left. That's coming into Manio now. And you got Kelly's Automotive, okay? Check them out online at kellysobxauto.com, and also check out Outer Banks Pest Control to get rid of all those nasty varmints. OuterBanks-pestcontrol.com. And don't forget, if the trucks ain't red and yellow, they're probably just some coattail riding fella. Yeah, I said it. Outer Banks Pest Control, wonderful folks over there. Love them. Great people. Yeah, this is episode 103, and I want to start out by saying a little bit of a prayer. Okay, today, the day that I'm recording this podcast is Tuesday. Now, according to the weather forecast, we're supposed to get snow. Again, we're going to get more snow. It's not going to be... The weatherman says it's not going to be as much as it was last time, but for people like my friend Adam who live up in like the Virginia Beach area up that way, they're supposed to get a lot, like a foot or something. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's like more than what we're supposed to get. So I'm going to go ahead, if you don't mind. I want to open this podcast with a little prayer asking the Lord Jesus to bless us with no snow. So here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all of our many blessings that we have in this lifetime, all the things that you do for us on a regular basis. We give thanks. I bring before you a concern today, Lord, a concern that a lot of us have, and it is that in the way that there is the possibility that snow will fall on this region. I'm asking you to not allow that to happen, please, Lord. Oh, we're all so tired of it, and it would just be nice if it didn't happen. I ask this in the name of the Lord Jesus. Amen. Now, here's the thing. This podcast comes out on Thursday. We will know Thursday whether or not the Lord answered my prayer, okay? Because the Lord answers prayers in 3 different ways. Yes, no, or not right now, okay? So I'm hoping that he says, yes, your prayer has been answered in the way of no snow. We'll see. I'm just, like I said, it's been cold. This has been one of the colder winters that we've had in recent years, in my opinion. And I'm done. I'm so done with the cold already. And I mean, here it is February. Spring should be right around the corner. I know the groundhog saw his shadow, which meant 6 more weeks of winter or something like that. And groundhog needs to be anyway, I'm not going to say what I wanted to say just then. I'm going to refrain. I went to an ethics class last week, and I've got to be careful of the things that I say these days, I guess. I don't know. But regardless, I'm done. Done with the cold. I really, really want it to go away. I'm over it. Completely over it. Oh, gosh. Coming up in this episode of the podcast, I got my buddy Joel from the Wreck Tiki Bar. Now, if you remember, last year in January, he came in on the podcast and we talked about notable events that are coming up, noteworthy events coming up in the year 2024. Well, he's going to do that again for us this year, okay? Noteworthy events to be marking your calendar for, to go ahead and make reservations for, to go ahead and look forward to for 2025. All right, so he'll be in here in a little bit just to talk about that, and probably talk about some things with the Wreck that they're going to be doing this year down that direction. Joel just recently, he still owns the Wreck and the Snack Shack down there in Hatteras Landing, but he just recently made a move to Nags Head. I want to ask him how that move to Nags Head is going and just kind of talk to him a little bit, man. Super cool guy. I went to his Super Bowl party that he had. Again, he'll be in here in a little bit to chit-chat with us in regards to noteworthy events coming up in 2025. Other than that, I'm trying to think about some news, anything newsworthy going on. And I really, again, we're not a news podcast. You already know this. I can't think of anything. But for all the news, you want to go to samwalkerobxnews.com. Go listen to the Sam and M podcast. He and his wife do that one together. Super fantastic, folks. Very informative, very fun. So there's the Sam and M podcast on all of your major podcast platforms, as well as samwalkerobxnews.com. I want to thank the fellas, Mr. Michael and Mr. Aaron from ELS OBX, for coming in and being on the podcast with me. If you need any electrical work done, ELS OBX is the way to go. ELSOBX.com online. Just talk, and check them out. Mr. Aaron and Mr. Michael would love to assist you in whatever your project is. They've done some work at my house before. They're very professional, very wonderful folks. They're very knowledgeable. They've done some work at my boss man's house, and they're just great people. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to episode 102, go back and take a listen. There's actually programs for energy saving that you may be qualified for with different lights or whatever. Again, I can't remember all this stuff, and I'm not good with a lot of that electrical jargon because I'm the kind of guy that'll cross up the 110 and the 220 and blow your house up. So you don't want to listen to me when it comes to some of that stuff. Go back and take a listen to episode 102, and they'll get you up to speed with all of that. Captain Marty, hey, we did the other side of fishing a few weeks ago. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's on Captain Marty's channel on all your major. You can just search Captain Marty. It's online with the Outer Banks this week. Just click on the Captain Marty tab, and you can go listen to all of his stories. You can listen to his other side of fishing. You can listen to his fishing reports. They're all right there. We got a lot of great things going on with the Captain this year that we're getting really, really excited about. So just keep it right here to learn more about Captain Marty. And again, online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. I'm going to jump into some shout outs here in just a few moments, but if you're looking for work and you're very good with heating and air, you've got your certifications, or even if, maybe you want to be an apprentice of some sort, my buddy Mike, he's actually my brother-in-law up at Michael McLean up at Master Heating and Cooling in Kitty Hawk. They're looking to hire some new employees. And I'm not going to sit here and try to explain and describe everything like he did. I'm just going to let him do it. He came in, he sat down with me yesterday, and this is what he had to say.
Master Heating and Cooling, your Lennox dealer of the Outer Banks, is now hiring. Qualified service technicians and experienced installers are needed. We are an OBX family-owned and operated full-service HVAC company with 35 years experience supporting our community with their heating and cooling needs. Join our team of professionals and earn competitive pay, benefits package, and performance-based bonuses. Call today 252-255-0095 or please visit us online at masterhvac.net/contact us.
Yes, masterhvac.net/contact us. If anything, just masterhvac.net. You can click on the contact us tab on that home screen, and I'm sure they would love to talk to you and get you set up with some work. Again, fantastic folks. Tony and Susan are some of the coolest people out there. I like them. I've talked to them multiple times. They're wonderful people. They're always giving back. And again, I'm willing to bet, I obviously haven't worked for him, but I'm willing to bet that it's a wonderful work environment. Again, I can't say enough nice things about my brother-in-law, Michael McLean. He's a fantastic person. He's so good with my boys. He's a great uncle to them, and he's just a wonderful guy. So if you're looking for some work, Master Heating and Cooling in Kitty Hawk would love to talk to you. All right, we're going to jump into some shout-outs. And again, if you're a listener to the podcast, email me directly, justin@outerbanksthisweek.com. I want to shout out to Miss Brianna from Brianna's Closet. So they're not open just yet. They're going to be opening in the near future. They gave me a date, but I'm not going to say it just yet. So this is Sports Zone's Hobbies, Mr. Jason, and his wife, Brianna's Closet. They're going to have a storefront right there across from, it's kind of catty-cornered from Jewelry by Gail right there in the Gallery Row area. So again, I talked with them the other day. I got them set up. They're going to be in the Outer Banks This Week magazine, and I'm going to go do a podcast with them right before they open. Again, I'm not going to give that date away, but she recognized my voice, I believe is what it was, when I went in to talk to her and her husband about some things with the Outer Banks This Week magazine. She's like, "You're the guy from the podcast." I was like, "Yes, that's awesome." So right then and there, kind of made a note of her, and I just want to thank them for trusting us to put the word out there for them in regards to Brianna's Closet and Sports Zone Hobbies. I'm looking forward to nothing. Miss Brianna, sweetheart of a person, very nice. She's going to have a very nice storefront, and she's going to have a lot of nice things in there. But the Sports Zone section, that's kind of my bread and butter. It's like you take the wife, she goes to Brianna's Closet. You take the guys and you go to just look at all the different cards and collectibles and Sports Zone Hobbies has. So going to definitely be a really cool store. I'm looking forward to their opening, but I want to give them a shout out today and say thank you for going into business with me in regards to helping market your business. And thank you for listening to the podcast. Super cool. I also want to shout out Mr. Woody Joyner texted me from Waterman's United. He texted me late last night, and I didn't see it till first thing this morning. And he said that someone approached him at the oyster feast they had, I believe it was this past weekend, and went and found him and said, "You're Mr. Woody from Waterman's United. I listened to the podcast that you did with Justin at Outer Banks This Week, and I signed up to be a member of Waterman's United." I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And that's the thing. That's the idea. That's the goal there is to, they want members, but it was an awareness situation to where people need to understand how that fishery works. If you go back to, I believe it's episode 101, that's the one that I did with them. And listen to it if you haven't had a chance to. But they are some fantastic folks. And I'm glad that the awareness was raised and people are joining the cause and fighting with them to keep our fisheries open. And to go back after, some of the legal stuff that's involved there. I'm not going into the politics of it. Please don't think that's what I'm doing. But Waterman United, they're fantastic folks. Miss Rachel, Miss Mary Ellen Balance, and Mr. Woody, and the rest of the group. There's a whole gaggle of them. So very cool. So I wanted to shout out to the lady that joined Waterman's United and went and found Mr. Woody. I didn't get her name, but that was really cool. Really, really cool. All right, quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Mr. Joel from the Wreck Tiki Bar down in Hatteras Village. He is going to tell us about some of the noteworthy events coming up for 2025.
So Nice Again, or SNA, is a full-service restoration company that offers a wide range of services to help you repair damages on your property caused by various elements. Whether you need to fix a section of your home or require cleanup for your business, our team has the experience to serve you. SNA specializes in water damage, fire, septic, mold, and more. Let SNA help you with your insurance claim as well. For more information, go online to SoNiceAgain.com. Make your home nice again with SNA.
Well, as I said a few moments ago, Mr. Joel from the Wreck was going to be joining me on the show, and here he is, Mr. Joel, everybody.
Mr. Justin. Tell you, man, I'm getting pretty comfortable over here.
You should. You've sat in that chair a few different times, and we've talked about a lot of different things. But man, let's start with you, man. How are you?
Life is good. We're rolling out of the off season now, planning for our opening next month down in Hatteras.
Okay.
We have some other things going on as well up here in Nag's Head, and hopefully I'll be able to talk about that very soon.
Okay. It's under lock and key right now, though.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But down in Hatteras, it's we're getting ready to go. So the staff is anxious to get the kitchens fired back up. And we'll be open in time for St. Patrick's Day as usual. So menu planning, we're putting our final plans on that.
Okay.
And we'll be ready to roll.
Excellent. So, wife's good, kids are good, everybody's happy-go-lucky.
Everybody is happy.
Good deal.
My oldest got to go to SmackDown last week, so he's been up on Cloud 9 since then. And I'll be honest with you, I've been pretty amped about it too. It was a good time. So
I was watching. My family was watching, and we were looking, and
they do a good job, man. That was I was sports entertained, as they say. So.
Yes. I was jealous. I know, because I told Austin, I said, Mr. Joel from the Wreck, he's there, and he was like, what? Oh, when do we get to go to another SmackDown? Because it's been a few years since we've been able to go, and I got a cousin that lives in Durham, so whenever they go to Raleigh, we'll go stay with them, and then just go over to
the show.
The show from there. So we're looking forward to the next opportunity we get to go to a SmackDown WWE event. But speaking of events, now I must say that one thing that Mr. Joel does is his homework in regards to what types of events are coming our way, what's going on with these events. And I actually just got another compliment again the other day regarding your Misfit Bar review. Somebody said that it was very well put together, very well informed, and that they were able to go and make drink selections and food choices at different places based on your recommendations.
Well, the Misfit Bars did all the hard work for me there, because I just rolled in and picked what looked good, and it was all great. So, I'm glad that was helpful to people, and I'm looking forward to doing that again next year.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a blast getting to all of those bars and restaurants.
Absolutely. Well, and I look forward to you doing it. So talk to me. So I was saying that there's a good amount of events that are going to be coming up already for 2025. We're trying to kind of look ahead, and we did this forecast last year. And I just, I see you got a few sheets of paper there in front of you. What you working with there?
Starting chronologically. So, we built out our calendar, one for planning down in Hatteras. We have a couple events in Ocracoke specifically that impact us down in the landing with ferry traffic. And just they're really cool in general. Two quick shout outs.
Yes, shout outs.
I had, as you know, I'm a food guy.
Yes.
As a restaurateur, I love the Outer Banks because we are a food destination. I'm going to say that every time I come in your program, Justin.
Yep.
Outer Banks is a food destination.
Okay.
So I had the privilege of experiencing, and I'm a cheesesteak guy. At the Snack Shack, we went all in on the cheesesteak. I think you've had it before.
Yes.
It's back next year. The one thing
Hallelujah.
that we're not doing just because of capacity, equipment, time, we are not baking our bread. If you go to a legit Philly cheesesteak shop up in Pennsylvania, they always bake their own bread.
Right.
So there's a cheesesteak shop in Corolla that this year they are trying to do that. I had the privilege of sampling and being part of the test market for that. Philly Steak Subs in Corolla. It's right next to Butcher Block. Butcher Block is another amazing place, by the way. But that's for a different podcast. So they went all in. They spent, and this is the great thing about being a restaurant in the Outer Banks, is you have this off season to tweak, experiment, and try and incorporate different changes into your menu before you launch this next season. Philly Steak Subs did that. So they were like, hey, we're going to spend the next 2 months making the perfect bread recipe. And oh my God, it is awesome.
Okay.
They open March 17th. They will debut their new homemade bread on their steaks.
Oh.
And it is a party in your mouth. You get a good bite of steak sub. It should be like a homogeneous blend of textures and flavors that just kind of like take over. And, And like once you're done eating it, you like kind of come back into consciousness and you're like, oh my God, what just happened to me? That's what that is a great sub. So go get Philly Steak Subs, get yourself a cheesesteak on the brand new.
And this is in
homemade
Corolla.
bread. In Corolla, right next to the Butcher Block.
Okay. All right. Good. And see, and the thing is my travels, my journeys normally take me south when I go to Whalebone Junction from Roanoke Island. I normally turn and go south and head your direction. Rarely do I get further north than Duck Intersection a lot of times. So now you've given me a reason to go there. Okay.
I hope I give everybody listening to this a reason to go there. And that's why you have me back on your program. I travel up and down the beach looking for the good food so I can come back and report on it.
Yes. All right. So shouting out to them. Who else we got?
I got a shout out to Rory Live. Been on your program before.
Yes, Rory. Yes.
He one of our musicians down at the Wreck. We're playing all over. Big deal. He won the Best Acoustic Solo Artist Award from Outer Banks Coastal Life magazine.
No kidding.
How cool is that? I don't know if we have a clapping sound.
We'll
but very, very cool. Right.
No, I used to have an applause button, but I don't have it anymore.
All right, maybe we can
Yeah,
get that back in the budget next year.
Yes.
So great for him. We have him booked coming back to the Wreck a few different times this year, but he is a very busy guy. But kudos to him for winning the Best Acoustic Solo Artist Award. From
Very
Outer
cool.
Banks Coastal
Congratulations.
Very cool. So those shout outs out of the way.
Okay.
Let's talk about some events.
Let's talk.
Okay. So we are currently in February. The next big thing coming up is St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. Yes, a huge celebration here.
Big time celebration. And it's kind of the bookend of the season for a lot of local businesses here. We'll be opening up. We will be open by St. Patrick's Day down in Hatteras. I just mentioned Philly Steak Subs. They'll be opened up in Corolla. That's kind of when things come alive.
Start waking up.
Weather
in a way.
starts getting nicer. Sun's out. Daylight's
Great.
longer.
Yeah.
Everybody's mood is better. It's just
Amen.
it's a nice time. It's a nice time of year, right?
Amen. You're absolutely right. Yes.
So two cool things happening in the Outer Banks on St. Patrick's Day besides businesses opening up. You have the St. Patrick's Day Beer Mile.
Beer Mile.
This is on Saturday, March 15th, just before St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
And this is put on by the Outer Banks Brewing Station and Outer Banks Running Company. Costumes encouraged. I did this last year and the photos looked really, really cool. I missed it, unfortunately. This year I will be there.
Okay.
But you start at the Outer Banks Brewing Station. You run up to Metal Arc Streak, turn around, come on back. It's 1 mile exactly. And then there's a whole party there waiting for you afterwards. Sort of a kickoff to the St. Patrick's Day season. So,
Okay.
Everyone can handle a mile. You can walk it, run it. It's not really tough. There are awards for the fastest mile and everything. But the point is to drink green beer, dress up, and just celebrate life on St. Patrick's Day is what they do there. And so at Outer Banks Brewing Station, I can't think of a better place to do that, especially in their beer garden in the back. So,
Good spot. Yes, absolutely.
then that will roll into the St. Patrick's Day parade in Nag's Head the next day. Now, you know about this parade, Justin.
Indeed. We actually here at Outer Banks this week were in the parade last year.
Are you in the parade this year?
That jury's still out on whether or not we're going to be participating.
Oh, okay.
So that's still being discussed.
I hope to see. I will be on the sidelines with my green beer watching for you out there. Hopefully.
I may be there
It's
on the
cool.
sidelines
That
with you
is
with the green beer. Who knows?
Well, it's a whole event.
Right.
And it's people come up from Hatteras, they come down from up in the northern beaches. It's a community get together, something very unique. And you have the businesses who are opening their doors, and they have they sort of move their storefront out to the curb, and there's all kinds of cool stuff happening. That is it truly is a kickoff to the season, I think. It is in Nag's Head. The parade route goes around the beach road. And that will be on Sunday, March 16th. So absolutely a 2025 event to look forward to.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
But then we have March 22nd and 23rd, the weekend after.
What's that?
This was the Blackbeard's Revenge 100. It is back again.
I remember.
And you remember this?
Yes.
It is the revenge of the Blackbeard's Revenge because things went awry last season.
Yes, I do remember.
So last year, this has been a race that has been put on since 2019. It's the 6th year. Last year, and it always goes from Corolla all the way down to Hatteras. It's 100 miles exactly. There's also a 100-kilometer variant. It starts at Jeanette's Pier. Traditionally, the 100-mile race starts in historic Corolla Park.
Yes.
What happened last year is we got a doozy of a nor'easter that came in and just ruined everybody's plans. So there was really no way. Hatteras was basically shut down. There was no way for runners to traverse. The race directors had to make a last-minute call and cancel everything south. They basically ran from Corolla to the bridge, turned around, and came all the way back and finished at the start line. And they made it, roughly 100 miles. But I mean, the conditions were so terrible. Their finishers were few and far between.
Yeah, I felt like I remember. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, you're talking. It was cold. It was windy. It was miserable.
Yes.
And it was a bummer. So hopefully this year it is better. And the finish line party will be at the Wreck Tiki Bar. So
okay.
You will start at historic Corolla Park, and the finish line will finish at the stairs of Hatteras Landing. And you will proceed into the Wreck Tiki Bar. Will be open for 36 hours.
Okay.
Straight, not closing. Serving all of our runners their finish line meal. So and their families and support, any support they have as well. So
it's awesome.
We had this ready to go last year. We're really looking forward to it. We were all really disappointed it didn't work out. So everybody is back on board this season to try and make this happen. So that is March 22nd and 23rd. How about we head into April?
Yes, April. I mean, Easter's in April. Lots of things really starting to blossom in April. What is it? April showers bring Mayflowers or something. But hey, let's hope for some good sunshine in April.
Something like that. You know what else it brings?
What does it bring?
Wind.
Wind.
Which you need for kiting.
Okay.
Which you can celebrate to the fullest extent at the Outer Banks Kite Festival, Friday and Saturday, April 18th and 19th.
Ooh.
Of course, this is at Jockey's Ridge. And it's put on by Kitty Hawk Kites. This is a really cool event every year. And, back in the day, I used to like see it, I knew what it was. Now I know what it is. I mean, there's just like hundreds of kites.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
They pull out. Have you been up there to that?
I haven't been up to it, but I've been going down the road
it's cool.
when.
Yeah, you should go. Bring the kids. This is a cool one. They have all kinds of demos, and they have sample kites you can try. Kitty Hawk Kites brings all this stuff out.
Right.
Hang gliding, obviously, is an option. And it's just sort of a way to introduce you to some things maybe you haven't gotten. If you haven't tried like a stun kite, for example.
Right, yeah.
They say, here's all of our stun kites, go have at it.
Okay.
With instructors and people who know what they're doing and everything. So it's a really cool, the live demos and interactive activities. That's a cool event happening Friday and Saturday, April 18th and 19th.
Very nice.
Talked about this one last year, and I'm going to talk about it again because it's for the county. This is a very cool thing they do. The Dare County Kid Fest.
Kids Fest, yes, put on by the Children and Youth Partnership.
That's absolutely right. So you go to this thing, you just see tables everywhere. Like this is inside of a kid's brain, just like out there. It's just kind of like everything you can do all at once. All kinds of activities, coloring, drawing, face painting, bubbles, you name it, crafts, snacks, all kinds of characters. They have, and I mean, they say this is for the kids, but I'll be honest with you, I think it's pretty cool too when they got the fire truck and you can go up there and like go play with all the stuff. So all the police cars, fire trucks, that will all be there as well. And that is a very nice event put on by the county for locals. So everyone is absolutely invited.
Yeah.
It's just one of those really cool things where you appreciate being part of the community because we have an event like that.
Absolutely. Super cool. Last year, for a quick funny story. I believe the town of Manio had like a backhoe or something out there, some equipment. And my littlest, who's 4, he loves like equipment like that, excavators and stuff. And they let him sit in the seat of the backhoe, and he was kind of geeking out a little bit, sitting there. And then when we tried to get him out, he was not thrilled. But it was just cool that they had that type of stuff that they were showing to people. So anyway,
right. In May, it's getting pretty warm.
Yes, warming up.
You know what happens when it gets hot outside?
People want to drink more.
They want to drink more, and they want to go to the water park.
Yes, they do. H2OBX.
You want to go for opening weekend, H2OBX, on May 24th. That's when they're set to open. I love H2OBX.
Yes.
That place is awesome.
It is. It is very cool.
And they'll be open 10 a.m. Saturday, May 24th. You can still get your season passes, which we are doing, obviously.
Okay.
And you get 20% off food and beverage when you get that.
Hold on a second, Joel. Like that's a long way from Hatteras, man, to get, season passes, driving from Hatteras all the time. Like, that's a long ways. I mean, but hey, it's worth it. I know. It's absolutely worth it.
Many Hatteras residents come up to H2OBX all the time. They know where it's at, man. They know where it's at. So, yeah, we'll have our off days, and that's how we want to celebrate. I want to get in that lazy river and just be like,
if only
a day off from the kitchen today, I'm just going to float around in this thing.
If only they would allow you to float around with like one of their margaritas or their daiquiris or something, cold beverage in your hand. But you know what? It's okay. You can stop, get out, drink one, get back in.
All right. That has been done before. It will be done again this season.
It will be done again.
That is the move right there. So can't wait for that to be open again.
Cool.
And also in May, this one is a little bit less known, and I'm not really sure why. If you were in college in the early 2000s or late 90s, you probably heard of the Pat McGee Band. You've heard of Pat McGee?
Yes.
All right. Did you know they do a music event here every year?
I did not.
Exactly. So it's called the Pat McGee's Down the Hatch. And they do it every year. They have Pat McGee as the headliner, obviously. They kind of rent out the Ramada up in Kitty Hawk.
Okay.
Kitty Hawk or
Kildare Hills?
Yeah, I think KDH Ramada. Yeah. And there's a bunch of musicians that come along with them. And they're just, they're there doing their thing. This is the 15th anniversary of this. Pat McGee Band has done this every year. And it is May 28th to May 31. All kinds of music happening there, including Pat McGee Band. And I wanted to highlight that one just because, again,
Of course.
did
not even know that.
it's kind of flies under the radar, I think, but it's kind of a cool thing, especially if you are a person of our age and you kind of like to touch on that nostalgia a little bit from back in our younger days.
Yes.
That's a good way to do it.
Absolutely. Okay. Good to know. You said that's at the end of May?
May 28th to May 31st.
Okay.
3-day event. It's a huge thing.
3-day
So,
event. Okay.
I like music. So
I mean, who
I'll
doesn't?
check it out, right? June 6th through 7th. Now we're in June. We are officially in peak season.
Okay.
So here is the the Okra Folk
Okra Folk.
Festival.
I'm familiar with the Okra Folk
Okra
Festival.
Folk. It's pretty cool. So this is one where we kind of caught wind about this last year and should have been better prepared because this is when you sort of get the ferry traffic building up and you're kind of like, man, what's going on? The Okra Folk. This year, 28 bands, and that's what they have booked now. But it's very cool when you look at it. They have like your really well done tent. They got a dance floor out there. They have a main stage. They got side stages. Artists showcasing all their wares. There's about 20 different booths that are doing all that. Pottery, woodworking, photography, painting, metalworks, leather, jewelry. So you can go check out all this awesome music. Go and look out and peruse the local vending options. And get yourself some food and beverage and dance a little bit.
Dang right. Sounds like a good time to me.
I will.
28 bands.
This is actually my birthday weekend, so I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna skip across the inlet there and spend some time in Oka Croak. I think Oka Croak is very cool. Like we need more reasons to go there.
Yes.
And I know that's like. I work down at the landing every day. Like I'm as close as you can get without actually being there. I don't get there enough. And I really want to. So like it's this season, that is my goal. Go to Oka Croak more. Go to 1718. Go to Howard's. Go to all the cool places.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is a good reason to go right here for the Okra Folk Festival, June 6th through 8th. OkaCroakAlive.org. So you can check out the current list of artists that are performing. And I believe they might have some advance sale tickets. So that is definitely a highlight.
Okay.
So speaking of music, here's a good time to bring up Vusic OBX.
Vusic OBX. Yes, of course.
So this is one where we should mention that stuff is coming down the road. Right now they have exactly one act booked.
Okay.
But every year it's kind of like in April and May. That's kind of when they line up their entire summer concert series. I don't know if you're a man with the ear to the ground, Justin. I don't know if you've heard any rumors about what might be coming.
I think so. While you keep talking, I'm going to see if I can find what I saw earlier.
So the one thing they have booked, June 28th, Jake Owen with special guests. Speaking of nostalgia, Uncle Cracker.
Uncle Cracker. Yeah, I saw Jake Owen a few years ago. That was actually a pretty
good.
Awesome show.
Oh,
I enjoyed the heck out of it. And I mean, I've been a Jake Owen fan for a long time. Barefoot Blue Jean Night, man. I mean, just that's one of my jams back in the day. And then these any 8-second ride. Yeah, I worked in country music radio for a little while too, so that kind of helps. But I will say that there is another announcement. I think it was just a couple of hours ago. If you want to take a look over here, Mr. Joel, I got it up on my screen on their Facebook page. They're going to have, it looks like Aaron Lewis and the State Liners. Is that what that says? State Liners?
That's what it says.
American as it gets on July 23rd of this year.
So they're filling it in. There's only, I know they do like the season pass, so you just go to all the shows.
Yes.
They usually have a bunch of them.
That's the best way to do it too, in my opinion. Right. So anyway, sorry, I knew I just saw this earlier.
No, that's right.
So.
That is breaking news. Breaking news right on your show, Justin.
I love
Very
it.
Exciting.
But yeah, as you were saying, they do a terrific job getting acts and people to come here. I mean, they had the Beach Boys last year. Yep. They had a good handful of great entertainment last year. But yeah, if you're able to go online and get the season pass for it, if you plan, you're not going to. The shows are all great.
Every year they seem to up the ante a little bit.
They do.
Like last year they had Less Than Jake and Dirty Heads and
they had 311.
The 311 Revolution. There's there's stuff that is coming that will be announced that you're going to want to be at. And
of course,
there's some of these acts. When we have our bar staff, everyone's like, "Hey, we're taking off that night because we're going to be up in Roanoke." That. So
right.
Sometimes you just got to close shop and be like, all right, we're all going.
Look, and it's cool of you to do that. That's really cool. So
All right, so June is now past. We're on to July, and early July means
4th of July.
4th of July, man. Yeah. So
Yes.
4th of July in the Outer Banks is very cool. And there's a reason why it's so popular that time of year. If you're listening to this podcast, I hope you can get here during that time. There's stuff going on all over the place. So this is something people may not know. Speaking of Ocracoke, they do their 4th of July early.
Okay.
Fireworks on Ocracoke are July 2nd.
Really?
They're right over Silver Lake Harbor. They have all their festivities happening. Then annual sand sculpture contest, which is very cool. I don't know. I kind of nerd out about that stuff because like you see these people doing that stuff with the sand. And, like I can
The
barely
sand
use the little
sculptures,
kid
yes.
molds, you know. Like these. It's so.
This poor guy one time, this real quick story. I was watching this dude spend like 4 or 5 hours working on a sand sculpture right outside of, right beside the Outer Banks fishing pier. It was like 10 years ago. Dude had spent all afternoon working on it. And like this guy, he walks off from it. He's like, yeah, I've spent, 4 or 5 hours, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, this one drunk guy runs over, starts like kicking it over. I felt so bad. I mean, I'm laughing. I don't mean to, but like I felt so bad for the guy. God, it was horrible. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Some people just don't appreciate art.
No.
All right. So hopefully that doesn't happen at the annual sand sculpture contest.
No, let's not let
But
that
like
happen.
you can go, you can get your little appetizer for 4th of July on the
Okay.
2nd. Go to Ocracoke and see the fireworks. Go do all their stuff. They have a parade, floats, bikes, golf carts. They do all that on July 2nd.
Oh, cool.
Then you can come back to Hatteras and do the same thing all over again on July 4th. So Hatteras Village, they have a parade. They do it every year. People go all out. There's a contest for the golf carts and they make sure they're all decorated.
Oh,
in red, white, and
cool.
blue. The town of Duck up north, they do the same thing. They have their parade, but they don't have fireworks. So your parades are going to be in Duck, Hatteras, and Ocracoke.
Okay.
Your fireworks are going to be in Avon, right over the Avon Pier. Always a very good show.
Yep.
I'm going to give you my secret. We go, because they're all visible from the beach up in the north and the south. We take the north end of Buxton and we go on the beach, kind of just where over the road always washes out.
Yep.
And you set up shop kind of like in the mid-afternoon. You get some food, you get some beverages, and you just chill and wait for the sun to go down. And then boom, fireworks show right in front of you on the beach. Doesn't get any better than that.
That's awesome. Hey, little tip.
That is where I will be on July 4th. But
Okay.
the fireworks over Shallowbag Bay in Manio are supposed to be epic as well. And you will have that option.
Yes.
So
yes.
3 parades, 3 options for fireworks. That is
Well, I believe
healthy amount of weather.
throw Kill Devil Hills in that mix too. They normally do a pretty decent display as well. So, and a little trick, like you were talking about the trick for the Avon fireworks, the ones in Manio. If you like, a lot of people go to Jockey's Ridge and they'll sit there and they'll watch the ones from Manio and they can turn around and see the ones from Nag's Head because Nag's Head Pier shoots them off.
right.
And my wife will go sit at the Soundside event site and watch the Manio ones from there. So, because they shoot them like that direction. So it's pretty cool. But anyway,
There you go. Two firework watching hacks.
yes.
So let's stay on the let's talk about Ocracoke some more.
I love Ocracoke.
Okay. Well, they have a fig festival every year. That's a pretty big deal.
Oh, okay.
And I've talked about this on your program before, but 1718, they do my favorite beer in the world is their fig wheat. And
They have a big wheat beer.
It's amazing. They take their summer wheat and they infuse it with Ocracoke figs.
Oh.
So they only have so much, but it's incredible. Last year I was able to get 3 kegs for the bar. It blew out almost immediately.
Save me a pint of that. I'd like to try it. Anyway.
This year a keg might fall off a ferry
okay.
and wind up
Hey.
at my house. I don't know.
Hey,
It happens. But
sometimes that happens. You're right.
weird. But the fig festival is usually a very big deal. This is another one of these where the ferry gets backed up because
Yeah.
people are going over to this thing. It's a whole week. It's a week-long festival celebrating the fig, and it culminates on Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd. Lots of fig-themed snacks and baked goods. Of course, that is when 1718 unveils their fig wheat for the season. Usually they see kind of what's left over and what they're taking to different beer shows, and then we get offered whatever they have left. So I keep that date on the calendar. But yeah, it's another like I said, I'm trying to get to Ocracoke as much as I can this year because I think I didn't go enough last year, and
will
it deserves to be visited.
Will there be Fig Newtons there?
That's a great question.
I don't know. Just the first thing that
That'll
came
be
to
the
my
next
mind.
time I come back. I'll report on that.
What else you got coming up down the pipe?
Okay, so now we're moving into September, and I have the Outer Banks Jeep Invasion on here.
The Jeep Invasion, yes.
I believe you're a relatively recent Jeep owner.
Yeah.
How's that treating you?
I love my Jeep. My Jeep's wonderful.
Right, I also love my Jeep.
It's got the Hemi in it.
But here's why. So, like, I think that this deserves to be mentioned because this is not just, you might hear, okay, a Jeep Invasion, this is for Jeep people. It's not.
Oh.
So they take over the fairgrounds. They're there by Miller's Waterfront. And that's
the Sound Side Event site right
big
there.
patch of grass. And they come, and all these Jeeps come in from all over the place, all kinds of vendors, all kinds of things going on there. And they encourage people who don't know anything about Jeeps to just come check it out. So there's a lot of people who have their tricked out Jeeps, all kinds of lift kits and like the different camper systems that are built on top of it and everything for overland. And they just want you to be like, hey, come look what you can do with the Jeep. And they encourage you to go walk around and check it out and be like, wow, look at this thing. It's pretty cool. But then they also do things where if you've never driven in a Jeep on the beach before, which is, the whole experience, they take you.
Wow.
So there's some different ticket events for that kind of thing, but then there's also everyone with a Jeep. They do like a big caravan. They do a beach drive, and it's a way like it's definitely for Jeep people to come and like meet and do Jeep things, but it is also very much for non-Jeep people to introduce themselves to Jeep culture and kind of see what it's all about. Maybe get interested in it. So
Jeep culture. I love it.
Jeep is a culture.
It is. It is.
Right,
Broncos are starting to kind of try to do the same thing, I've noticed. But anyway, we digress.
They're trying.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that takes us to October.
Okay, good month.
And this one is pretty cool. Every year, Ocracoke, they do the Blackbeard Pirate Jamboree.
Yes, the
You
Pirate
remember
Jamboree.
This? Yes, of course. This year, it is on Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
So come on.
shut up,
You got
man.
pirates and you got Halloween, put them together. Like, what more could you ask for?
Dude.
So Friday, October 31st, also my better half's birthday.
Right.
Jessica Sheingold birthday on October 31st. So we usually do a pretty big party at the Wreck for that, But, this year I have to move it to Ocracoke.
You got to move it to Ocracoke.
You have
And that's
Pirate
okay.
Jamboree on Halloween. That is pretty cool. So do that Friday and Saturday. It's a celebration of Ocracoke's pirate history. If you know anything about Ocracoke, you know that it is just saturated in.
Absolutely.
That is what made Ocracoke. Ocracoke was
Yeah.
like that was a
The fame.
pirate's lair. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I mean,
they have a
Blackbeard.
and especially Blackbeard. That's why it's called the Blackbeard's Pirate Jamboree.
Yes.
They have a historically accurate pirate camp. They always put that together. They do a full reenactment of Blackbeard's last battle.
Do they really?
Big time.
See, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. Obviously, you have all the local art vendors, a lot of food. You have a lot of drink options. They have people who do the sea shanties, but like can really do the sea shanties.
What?
Not like me trying to do karaoke, but like the professionals, which is like I'm always really impressed by. It's very cool. A lot of living history exhibits, and then they do the whole thing culminates. They do like a little walking parade of all the pirates. They go to Springer's Point, and they do a hymn and they do a cannon salute to honor those fallen during Blackbeard's last battle.
Wow. Dude, I didn't realize it was like, I knew it took place. I knew it was a big party down on Ocracoke Island, but I did not realize that all those things took place. Man, I really want to go to that. Like, I really, really want to go down. I'm going to talk to my wife about this. So that sounds like, dude, and it's like, it's Jess's birthday weekend. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot happening
a
there.
lot of great things coming together at that point.
That'll be a good time to be alive.
Yes.
So we get into the holiday season after that. This gets bigger every year, and we'll kind of end on this one as sort of like highlights. Shuck Hatteras.
Shuck Hatteras.
You're familiar with Shuck Hatteras?
Yes, very familiar.
They take over KOA Campground up in Rodanthe, so kind of centrally located, not too far away from anybody. It raises money for the life-saving station. I believe they raise quite a bit of money for the life-saving station, which is a good thing. And this is a just full-on celebration of food, oysters, a whole lot of live music, all kinds of vendors, and a oyster cook-off challenge, which I think is kind of like the highlight of the entire thing, is people cooking these oysters. Are you an oyster guy,
I
Justin?
love oysters. Yes.
I'm a little hit or miss. They're growing on me.
I mean, I don't like them raw. Let me say it like that. Steamed or
Well-
fried, I mean, they're going to get tore up by me. Not a raw oyster guy. Let me put a little asterisk next to that.
Well, this is probably where you want to go to get your cooked oysters then, because
Okay.
they're going to be all over the place. And it is a KOA campground, so there's all kinds of stuff built in for kids, games, all kinds of other activities. You just go have a whole family event. So like the adults get their oysters, the kids get to go play and go hang out. And usually the weather's worked out. It's usually not been too bad there in December. So Shuck Hatteras is back, and we will be there for that as well.
Very cool.
December 20th.
So, the great thing about oysters, now my wife doesn't like this part, but I mean, they're an aphrodisiac.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, for me, it's like, she's like, oh gosh, if he eats oysters, like he's going to be trying to chase me around the house later. So, I do that anyway.
More
but
so,
it's just
more so
that
than
much
usual.
worse.
Right, more so than usual.
Yeah. Well, Joel, hey man, dude, that's a lot of events, and I mean, I think you did a great job covering them all. I appreciate you doing that. Now, let me ask you this: I know you said Rory's coming back for Bandwise at the Wreck. Anything else? Any different menu items that you've been experimenting with? You want to kind of tease real quick, or we just going to kind of leave that for the mind to wander?
That's going to
Kind of putting you on the spot right here. I didn't tell him I was going to ask him this, so
There are a few things in the works.
Okay.
And we are still making our final menu decisions, so I don't want to like unveil anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I have been recently looking into boba tea as a
Boba tea.
Yeah. Now this is, if you look at the market data, it's kind of like we have one place in Nagshead that sells boba tea in the Outer Banks.
Yes. Yes, I think I know what you're talking
They're
about.
quite busy, so that got me thinking.
Okay. My man's thinking.
That's all we are right now is thinking.
Okay.
But
You're just thinking. One thing, if you get to know Joe, you meet Joe, you get to know him, like he's always trying to think ahead. He's always looking for the next best thing in a way to make things better at the Wreck and to serve you a better product, He's brought me things like I've been in there before just to sit down at the bar and have the drink just went right out of my head. My drink that I normally get when I'm there.
I believe you get
The Mai Tai.
the Mai Tai, the painkiller.
Yes. I'll sit down with a Mai Tai and he'll be like, here, try this.
Right.
And he'll like walk it over to me from the snack shack or something. And it's something absolutely freaking amazing 90% or 100% of the time.
My favorite part of that it is a creative process of this menu, and it's total collaboration and team effort. So this is what I was going back to the off-season time for restaurants to be able to be like, okay, we're closed. We're not just sitting on the couch. Let's figure out how we can evolve and change and do things better. Every off-season we do that. And we've kind of been like honing in on exactly what we want to be, what our identity is, what we are good at making, what are we offering that's different from other restaurants around us. And so it's always kind of like you get these ideas and you run them as specials in the season. So like here's one that'll be on the menu this year, the Snack Shack, a chicken parm sandwich.
Okay.
That was a experimental special. Well, it started out like most good things do, is like we were just in there, we're hungry, we're like, let's make something. Let's put some mozzarella sticks on top of a chicken sandwich. Oh, well, hey, we just put some cheese on it. Oh, well, we're just missing the marinara. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So that right there, so we ran that as a special and people kept coming back for it. So like you have 2 mozzarella sticks, you put that on top of the chicken patty with some provolone. Make sure it's well sauced, and like that bite is just perfect.
There you go.
Like that was something you experiment with, and you find the right combination of flavors and things people will want, and that's the fun of it.
Hey.
That's why I like this business.
Yes. And you do a great job at it every day when you wake up. I know you're putting your best foot forward, and I mean it shows with the products that you serve and the type of atmosphere and environment in which you have there at the Wreck with the Snack Shack involved. I mean it's great. I mean I'm telling you, and I've say this multiple times a year. If you haven't been to the Wreck, you need to go to the Wreck, and you need to go and experience the fun that they have there and just take it all in. I mean it's like that Hatteras Island experience that you're kind of looking for, So
A great time to come would be this finish line party for the Blackbeard's Revenge should be very cool. That's sort of our first big event, possibly the biggest event of the year. But I'm excited to have I mean, I've finished a marathon before, which is less than 25% of, actually a little more than 25% of the distance that these runners are going to be traversing.
Oh, wow.
And I know what that felt like. You know, it's a bit emotional. You cross that finish line, you're like, oh my God, like they just ran 26 miles. They're doing 100. And so like, I imagine what they're going to feel like when they cross that finish line. I'm excited to host them, and I'm excited to give them really good food and give them a nice, comfortable place to sit and make sure they have whatever beverage they need. They have earned it.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to take care of them.
There you
So
go.
I'm really hoping that the weather gods are favorable to us this year.
Yes.
And we can do this thing, because that'll be just really kind of a unique thing for all of us.
Absolutely.
So they did give us the finish line flag last year. They everyone who finished, they have a Blackbeard's Revenge flag at the finish line. You sign it. And they gave that to us because they're supposed to finish there. We put it up on our ceiling, so it's just there all the time. And then this year's flag will go right next to it. Hopefully, it'll just be at the wreck, and they'll sign it there. We'll put it right up. And the idea is a couple years later, we have everybody's finish line flag for the Black.
That's pretty rad.
So this thing is growing every year. They have more and more runners sign up for it. I don't know why, but
what better place to do a marathon or do a 100-mile run than?
Well, I think the operative word there is a 100-mile run. But yes, I mean, right. What better place than here? Absolutely.
Yes.
100-mile run.
That's a long way. I could do about a mile of that and be okay. So.
Maybe you and I can team up with 98 other people and we each do a mile.
Joel, I appreciate you coming in, man. Again, I always enjoy having you in here. And you haven't heard the last of Joel. He's going to be in here. You know, I'm hoping I can have him a good handful of times more throughout the year. I know in summertime it gets a little hectic. And I mean, we'll figure it out, though. We're going to figure that out for sure. So, Joel, thanks for going through all these events. Again, people, if you're listening and you need to mark these down on your calendar so that way you can make plans to attend, because everything that he talked about is something that, I mean, everybody seems to enjoy when they come in and participate and go to these things. So, Joel, hey, thanks again for coming in, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Coast Realty in Nags Head is your full-service vacation rental management company where guests become family. Born and raised in the Outer Banks, Brooke Sparks and Heather Cater bring over 40 years of combined property management experience to the table and are known to go above and beyond to ensure that your beach vacation will never be forgotten. When you choose to book your vacation with Coast Realty, you are choosing to work with the best local experts. Whether it's a simple getaway for just the two of you or the whole family, Coast Realty can easily accommodate. To see their properties and to book your piece of paradise, go online to coastrealtync.com. Coast Realty, we do the hard work so you can coast.
Yes, Coast Realty right there in Nags Head. Brooke Sparks and Miss Heather Cater. They are some wonderful people. Let me tell you something. The amount of energy that they put into their work, the amount of energy that they put back into the community, fantastic folks. Fantastic folks. Again, Coast Realty, they would love to talk to you about your property, your home, and maybe if you're in the market to buy a new home, they'd like to talk to you about that too over at Coast Realty. All right, we're going to jump into some events. And again, all the events that I'm going to talk about can be found online, except for one. There's one that can be found on Facebook, and I'll tell you how that I'm going to go over in just a minute. But the rest of the events can be found online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. As I always like to say, support your local high school and middle school athletics. Whatever sports season is coming up, I know baseball and softball season, I believe girls soccer, track, I don't know if golf, I don't know. I'm not sure. There's so many different sports now in school. It's not like your traditional like softball season, baseball season, track season, and girls soccer season. It's like a bunch of different seasons that are happening right now. So please show them some love and support. Go and cheer them on. Trivia nights, live music across the board, karaoke nights. Again, you can find those 12 for 10 cents on our social media, on the Outer Banks This Week website, not social media. We do things with social media, but not a lot of the events. Depends. It depends. Regardless, so again, online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com, you can find all of those things. I'm doing trivia nights at McGrath's Burger Shack every Wednesday night starting at 6 o'clock, and I'm also doing trivia nights Friday nights starting at 6:30 at Juan Cheese Marina. Let's talk about something that's going on. Let's see if hopefully I don't get a Facebook message in the middle of this. So if you go back to episode 100 of the podcast, I had Coach Zach Alexander from Manio High School's baseball team. He joined me, and we talked about the Black and Gold Day that's coming up at Manio High School. It's this Saturday, February 22nd, from 10 until 3 at Coy Tillett Senior Memorial Field. It's right there behind Manio High School. There's going to be food, games, bounce houses, petting zoo, face painting. The Manio baseball team is going to do a scrimmage, and there's going to be some new team merchandise. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to taking some batting practice. So I was talking to a parent of a baseball player just the other day, and she was telling me that my name came up the other day in regards to taking batting practice. I played baseball at Manio High School, and it's been a minute or two since I've seen some live pitching, like, live arm pitching at a high rate of speed. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I'm not saying that I'm going to, well, you know what? I take that back. You know what? I'm coming for you, Manio High School. Yeah. All you little punks that think you're going to try to strike me out. I don't think so. Yeah, I want the baseball that you throw to me is going to know what it looks like on the other side of the fence in like left center field. Okay. So that baseball that you delivered to me is going to take a trip about a 350, 360, 375, 400 foot trip to the other side of the fence, baby. That's right. So I heard some kid there is throwing like 90 mile an hour. And dang, if it's down the middle, it's gone. See you later. So yeah, I'm going to be out there taking batting practice. And we're going to see how well it goes. So that's this Saturday from 10 to 3 at Manio High School. Let's see. What are some other things that are taking place up and down the beach? I see a lot of things at Elizabethan Gardens. Adara Arts has stuff going on. Music bingo at Lost Colony Tavern going to be going on this Saturday evening starting at 6:30. That's always a good time. I hear a lot of fun things about music bingo. I've never done it, but it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. Let's take a look here. Open mic night at McGrath's Burger Shack on Monday the 24th from 6 until 9. Let's keep going down a little way. Troyvia. If you haven't done Troyvia yet at Lost Colony Tavern with my buddy Troy Tugwell, a.k.a. YP, he would love to have you come and be a part of Troyvia. I have not done it yet, but I really, really want to. Let's see. There's a lot of things going on at the North Carolina Aquarium right now. Those are the types of things, though, the aquarium you got to get reservations for. So I go online to ncaquariums.org, I believe is what it is, to make your reservations. Let's see. Things coming up the 28th. Friday night flights. It looks like flights of beer you can get at Fire Tender on Friday, February 28th. Let's see. Again, lots of things. A Mardi Gras ball. Check this out at New Vines on Saturday, March 1st, starting at 1 o'clock. A Mardi Gras ball. So there's going to be some partying going on for Mardi Gras at New Vines in downtown Manio. Continuing down the line, I'm into the month of March right now. And again, there's so many different activities, live music, trivia nights, karaoke nights. There's just so much going on every night of the week, it appears, anywhere on the Outer Banks that you want to go, whether you be in Duck, Nags Head, Manio, down in Hatteras, wherever, you can find something to do. And again, all these events are and more online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. Let's see. I'm going to fast forward a little further. The only other thing that's going to be taking place that I can tell you of right now on Sunday, March the 9th, is the Chili Cook-Off that's taking place at Stripers. I believe it starts at noon and goes until about 4. That's going to be a lot of fun. My boss man, Phil, and I are going to be a couple of the judges. So I'm really looking forward to that. I just judged the Chili Cook-Off at McGrath's Burger Shack. In my opinion, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Schaefer. Schaefer's chili was the best to me at McGrath's. The rest of them were good, but Schaefer's took my prize, at least in my opinion. So all that being said, again, online, OuterBanksThisWeek.com, click on the events tab, and you will see them all in their entirety. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. I do want to thank Joel for being on the podcast with me. What a fantastic person. Again, he's one of the nicest guys out there. Super cool dude. He's all about community. He's all about being a part of the community, and he just loves sharing this place with everyone. He really does. He's a wonderful guy, and I think the world of him. So, Joel, thank you for being on the podcast with me. Next week, little uncertainty. One of two people is going to be here, and I don't want to say exactly who just yet. I'm trying right now to reach out to one person, and if I can't get a hold of them, I'm going to get this other person whom I've already talked to. So, again, I'm going to have something, but it's a mystery what it is. Oh, with all that being said, Outer Banks This Week podcast, episode number 103, all brought to you by Kelly's Automotive in Manio and all powered by Outer Banks Pest Control. Kelly's online at kellysobxauto.com, and Outer Banks Pest Control would love to help you get rid of any varmint that is being a pest in your house, your place of work, or just a pain in your tail. OuterBanks-PestControl.com. All right, I'm going to head out of here. I will see y'all again next week. I pray that there's no snow. No snow. No snow. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm out of here. Have yourself a great, wonderful rest of the week, and I'll see y'all again next week. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.
This has been another radical edition of the Outer Banks This Week podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and listen every Thursday for a new episode.